Hi, I wanted to give you a little bit of background on Homework 11, which is the medicine unit project. So if you can open up your Canvas and then go into WebAssign, this is what the assignment looks like here. So what we're going to ask you to do is to take parts of Homework 8 and 9 and put them together into two emails for me. Let me talk first about what a typical email would look like, and then I'll talk a little bit about the previous homeworks. So this is a template that we provide in Canvas of a previous email that I wrote to Dr. Blackburn Lynch. The key parts of it are it's written in a memo format. It has a date, it has a from, which is me, it has a to, and please be very careful that it's got to go to Whitney Blackburn Lynch, PE, PhD. We need her full credentials. It has a subject, and that subject is almost like a tweet, if you will. It gives the entire content, if you will, of the email in just a few characters. And of course, we need that because in many cases people will read the title, and if it's not something that appears to require their action, they'll go past it. This particular email was used 3 years ago in an assignment. It has the three main parts of an email. It has a background, which I explain why I'm writing Dr. Blackburn Lynch. It has what I call an investigation. Some people call that the analysis. Some people call that the investigation. Some people call that the discussion. It's where I basically lay out the logic that I've used to render my recommendation or conclusion. In this case, the investigation contained the numerical parts of this. So for your two emails, one of them will have your mathematics in here that shows how you came up with the size of the tank and the hopper to support 1 week of production. The other email is going to have a little background information about what you used in order to come to a conclusion as to whether it was ethical or unethical to put the D5W, the 5% dextrose in water, down into the sewers and ultimately to Town Branch. Then the final part of it is the recommendation section. So in this case, it was pretty gruesome, but I came to the recommendation that it was better to risk 7.5 million people that potentially could die versus pretty much guaranteeing 9 million. Pretty gruesome, but this comes from an actual, comes from something that we actually dealt with. So let's look at this a little bit here. So we covered these items here: the subject line, the introductory paragraph, the paragraph concerning either the homework 8 or homework 9 information, and then the conclusion. So again, I'm looking for two emails. So let's look first at homework 9. That's the numerical part of it. So the key to homework 9 is going to be these calculations. Remember, we're building these containers of 5% dextrose in water. They're packaged, in this case it's 700 milliliters, but the package size is going to be different for yours. The production rate is going to be somewhat different for yours, as will the density. So you did the mathematics here to come up with how many gallons are needed to store a week's worth of the deionized water, and then that'll let you select a tank size. Then here's where we figured out how many cubic feet of dextrose per week you're going to need in the factory. That lets you identify the hopper size. So those are the two things for there to render conclusions on those two items. Then the last thing is the second email is the ethical questions. So we'll get to that. Please recall, this is what we're doing. We're putting in this new manufacturing line, and we're adding a warehouse here. The warehouse is raised slightly above manufacturing, so the forklifts have to go up into the warehouse. The warehouse sits on top of an existing parking lot, and you've discovered that the civil engineer that designed the warehouse is draining the warehouse right to the parking lot. So any pallets of the D5W that should fall off the forklift and break, that D5W is going to drain to the warehouse drains, ultimately to the existing parking lot, but the parking lot drains go into Town Branch, which is a protected waterway. So we did the work here in class, and we also do it in this homework assignment to identify is it ethical or not to discharge to Town Branch, and we have a couple links down here for articles that can help inform that decision. So the homework again is to roll that up into 2 emails, then submit those emails. I'd prefer them as PDFs because WebAssign finds that easier to display, but if you would like to do those as Word documents, that's fine as well. And that's all I need. Again, please email me with questions or come to office hours. Thank you, and we'll see you later.